Mo, I believe pain can be a great teacher. Through pain, we can find purpose. Through pain, we can find enlightenment if we know how to shift our perspective. I want to talk about Ali because you said countlessly over and over again, he's your teacher, your guru, your mentor, and so many other things, Mo. What were some of the memories and things that you took from him? Because he sounded like an outstanding
Yeah,
young man.
yeah, yeah. He was. I think if you want to sum it up, he was the best, the biggest gift I've ever been given, honestly.
Wow. Wow.
And it's just of course it takes a shift of perspective because Ali, as my son, I started to notice his Zen monkness, if you
Mm,
want, at a very young age. He was very, very unusual. I mean, some of us are like that. I don't know how we become like that, but he was always, always calm, always peaceful. He spoke very little.
really?
When he spoke, yeah, when he spoke, he was joking all the time, like a child. Okay, even in his last, days, he would just joke all the time, or speak enormous wisdom in 4 words. Okay, so you would go to Ali, and you would ask him something. I mean, by age 16, I honestly and openly, publicly told my friends that he's my mentor. When I become older, I
Wow.
want to become like Ali, right?
It's
And
beautiful.
he was unbelievably wise. But he would sit there and look at me. At the time, I was chief business officer of Google X. Like, everyone thinks of me as a semi-god of some sort, right? And I would go sit next to this young man and ask him a question, and he would sit there and entertain me, and ask me about how I feel and what makes me think this way, and just entertain me. Literally, I knew the minute I sat next to him that he knew the answer. Okay, but he would just give me the feeling that I said what I needed to say before he bestows his wisdom on me of some sort. And then he would answer in 4 words, like, literally, Papa, have you considered this? Something of that kind, 4 to 8 words. And it would blow you away every time. Not the effort-based doing that we do in the modern world, but really laying back and looking at the big picture. Okay, and this young man, I don't know if all of our listeners know, but he was 21 and a half when he had a belly ache, and we took him to the hospital. He was diagnosed with an appendix inflammation, and then it's supposed to be the simplest surgery known to humankind. But the surgeon did 5 mistakes in a row, and all of them were preventable, and all of them were fixable, actually. But yeah, somehow 4 hours later, my son left our world, and it's not, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the hardest thing a human can ever feel, because I haven't felt everything a human can ever feel. But I can tell you that it's still, this is 7 years ago, and as you can see, it's still emotional today, and it feels like it has a physical signature in my body. So when I think of Ali, I feel that the right hand side of my heart, the bottom right hand side of my heart, is missing. Okay, and it's exactly how it feels. I can pinpoint exactly where the pain is, and that, I don't know how to say that, but that was the biggest gift I was ever given. It is unlike you. It's not. Of course, I don't mean that you see it this way, but I didn't have a minute of guilt, even though I drove him to that hospital. Okay. I sat down and I started to write. And I started to write everything he told me, everything he taught me. In a manic way, I was trying to document what my teacher told me. Okay. And I was writing about happiness. Okay, which I think was really what saved me. And basically what I was attempting to do was, instead of hitting my head against the wall for the following 27 years, I was basically saying, maybe if I could share what he taught me with the world, then his essence would live on. Okay, his essence through 6 degrees of separation, 70 years later, a tiny bit of his wisdom will be with everyone. And that's exactly what happened. And I say it's the biggest gift ever. I was on stage right before the pandemic, speaking in an event called Wisdom in Business in Amsterdam. And Martin, the host, and who was interviewing me at the time on stage, so is a very good friend, and I burst crying on stage because there must have been 1,000 people in the audience or something, and I've been there the whole day and connecting with them. It was in Amsterdam, and I'm really successful in Amsterdam, so I have a lot of people that approach me and tell me how much the book made a difference to their life, and I just was overwhelmed with the love I felt from all of those people, and it hit me. I don't know exactly what the question he asked was, but he asked a question that basically triggered in my mind that life took away the love of Ali and replaced it with the love of tens of thousands, if not millions of people. I mean, I am showered with love, Akeem, every day. It's unbelievable, the number of people that send me a kind message on Instagram or whatever. And then you suddenly realize that pain, nothing is good or bad, ever. Nothing is ever good or bad, okay? Nothing is ever right or wrong, if you want to think about it. Huh? Nothing is how it should, nothing, there is no it should be this way. There's no it should be this way. There is, it happened, it is. What am I going to do about it right now? What am I going to do about it? That's what pain is there for. It's to either teach you something or to help you change direction. And sometimes, believe it or not, that change is not about you at all, which again, yes. East and West, we forget that. We forget from an individualistic point of view. I feel tremendous pain of missing him for the last 7 years, okay? But that's my pain. That somehow transcended into, reducing the pain of so many people by sharing his wisdom, okay? And I sometimes ask myself, well, if I had, knowing my son, if I had gone to him the day before the operation and said, Ali, would you give your life for millions or tens of millions of people to find more happiness? I promise you he would have said yes.
Wow.
I promise you he would have said, where do I sign?